forward, Patricia is the STAIR4SECURITY chairperson. That's Silence and Security, and she works very much for the French Militaire. And in this specific project, Patricia has been leading work package 2, and she's been in charge of the enabling platform and also the governance. So today we're going to focus very much so on the platform. Patricia will explain it to you in a little bit more detail, and she'll also show you the benefits. Tomorrow, in the afternoon session, we will look at the governance. So the floor is yours, Patricia.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you all for joining this meeting. I'm here to talk about the standardization opportunities and features that are offered by STAIR4SECURITY, and specifically by the STAIR4SECURITY platform. So can we move to the next slide, please? I'm going to be very quick on the first slides because Tom has already explained this to you. So the platform is a center of a system that already also is completed by an e-learning tool and a governance system. We'll address the e-learning tool and the governance system tomorrow. What is also important for you to understand is that STAIR4SECURITY is driven at policy levels and perspectives and needs. This means that it is being designed for the needs of the policy makers and the people who enforce them. It is being designed for their needs and by them and with their support. Tom also spoke about the engagement with the projects and the practitioners networks. So let's move to the next slide, please. What is also important for you to understand about the platform is that it's not just a place where you find relevant information. It's also a place where you interact. It's a place where you build information, where you build the resources that you need with the people that you want. Can we move to the next slide, please? So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the platform features, and then later on I will show you how to illustrate how we can use this platform and what these platform can provide you with. First, we have the search and discovery feature. This was our first idea, of course, and you know, this survey we just had shows us how this was absolutely needed. People just don't have the information they want. So this is why we wanted to design this search and discovery feature. It's to help the security stakeholder within Europe to easily locate the information that they need to develop their business. This information can be just anything, standards and pre-standardization. Well, how about that? People don't know exactly what standards are and what standards are already there available to support their activities, or some technical solutions, some best practices, whatever is needed. You need to know your environment. So this search and discovery feature is there to support you. I would say the center of the platform, the most important feature to me would probably be the networking mechanisms. When we began the project, we thought about the search and discovery, but immediately all the networks of practitioners and the project that we engaged with said, hey, we need to be able to work together, and we don't have this tool. So the networking mechanism is, let's say, kind of Facebook for security and safety stakeholders, policymakers, and practitioners, to allow them to just do what they want, to do what it takes to address their issues with whom they need, on the topics that they choose, to achieve the outcomes that are going to help them enforce their everyday business. Then we have an engagement channel. This is something that enforces, develops a networking mechanism, because then you can reach out and find new partners, new networks, and other people that you're not engaging with in order to strengthen what you're doing. There's also a consultation channel. Well, this is what Philip was referring to. This is a mechanism that allow the commission or technical committees or other groups to ask for opinions, and even you can use this to validate some outcomes. There's also a governance mechanism that we will address more tomorrow, but any platform needs a governance mechanism, the platform itself, and also the STAIR4SECURITY ecosystem. Can we move to the next slide, please? So the platform is in enabling pre-standardization, but how does this work concretely? Can we move to next slide? Well, I hope you all know what standards are, but I shall remind you that, of course, well, this is the ISO definition. There are documents providing specifications, guidelines, or characteristics that can be used consistently to ensure that materials, products, processes, and services are fit for their purpose. But they're much more than this. They're not a piece of paper. They're not just any outcome. They're concrete and shared outcomes that are workable for all stakeholders. They are developed by the consensus of experts. There are investments. There are levers to strengthen resilience and to develop markets. So it's complicated to get to know if you need a standard and on what topic you need it. And so you need to do a lot of preparation work, and this is pre-standardization work. The pre-standardization work is building up the forward-looking picture of standardization, of your business, of what you want to do. It is particularly needed in the EU current context because, as you know, it's a mess. It's very complicated. Many people are doing many very interesting things, but where are we going? Most of the time, pre-standardization is done within technical committees, working groups, because these people know the business and know the standardization environment, which is just a basic you need to know. But it can be done through other means. Of course, STAIR4SECURITY is there to do that, but you can also do a SAN workshop agreement or use the best practice guide methodology that will be explained tomorrow. And also, I must say that some of the outcomes of many European projects are really a very high quality pre-standardization outcomes that could definitely be used, and some of them could go directly to technical committees for new work item proposal. So next slide, please. Why is pre-standardization particularly needed in the EU context? Well, I'm not going to spend much time on this because I think you all know this. Next slide, please. I will just focus on the fact that there is a strong demand of European citizens to increase their security and safety accordingly to stakes, and probably also from the taxpayers to have much better efficiency of the investments that are done by the EU as well as by the member states. And while we need to get to know what how we should spend the money and learn to get more efficient, and standards is one of the way to do that. So next slide, please. So what does the STAIR4SECURITY platform do? Well, if you use these features that I described, you can move on. You know, what we do so many things in Europe. We have so much knowledge, so many incredible experts. Most people know parts of what should be done, but it's impossible to move on if we don't work together on some topics, and we're much stronger together. So the platform allows you to capitalize on what you've done, to develop your results, to widen your community, and to access useful data that you might not have been able to find. What's also important is that Well, if we want to move on to say, okay, that's the way we do things, this is the tool I need, and I'm going to design these technical specification, and I'm not going to buy anything that's not matching that. That means, yes, if we want to be more efficient, more coordinated, interoperable, and everything, well, we need to make choices. Not everything is okay. Not everything is right. Not everything is relevant. So let's have the policymakers say that and say what they want. And then the money that is spent to support them will still be there, but would be spent wisely. And the choices will be based on consensus and on their business requirements only. Standardization, as well as pre-standardization, is business oriented. And the choices will be validated and will be disseminated. So it's much easier to move on for them, but also for the EU institutions to get to know what to do with these results. With this platform, you can determine common objectives. You can choose to focus on and work to achieve them. Next slide, please. So let's see, for each feature that I described, what you can think of doing. Of course, there are thousands of use cases. No one is ever going to be able to think of all use cases because I'm not in everybody's head. But let's say what we know for sure is that, take for instance, search and discovery, you can easily build up the forward-looking big picture of your business. It's so important. Some of the people using the platform told me, well, I wish I would have had this before because it would have saved me 18 months, and then you find the references because we have a taxonomy. We don't just throw catalogs, and you just find what you need. We make them available for you. It saves time, money, efforts, and you may even solve your problems by just finding the standard, the network or the solution that you need because it already exists. The networking mechanism, well, the platform, as Tom said, breaks the silos where appropriate. I'm an expert in crisis management. And I know that, in any situation, you just don't need one kind of expert, one kind of stakeholder. You need the whole range of competences. But all these people are working in structures, in projects. And if you want to address the whole pattern, you need everybody on board. So the place to do this is the networking mechanism of the STAIR4SECURITY platform. You can choose to interact with whoever you want on any topic you choose. You find new partners if you don't have them. For instance, you need new countries, or you need this kind of industry or research. You value your outcomes and you build up together. The engagement channel allows you to reach out and submit your requests, your outcomes to a wider community or to relevant partners or networks. The results are reinforced because you have used more knowledge to build them, and they may be able to become requirements by using the consultation channel, for instance. Because there you will have reached a level of maturity of what you develop that can lead to certainty about is this standard really needed and how should we develop it and with whom. Next slide, please. So what are the STAIR4SECURITY expected outcomes? There are many, many, many of them. This is really a win-win situation. Outcomes, I'm not going to describe all of them, for policymakers and practitioners because I've just done this, but I will probably focus more on industry and research because I haven't done this enough in this presentation and time is running. Livia, can you move to, yes, thank you very much. You see, the platform is designed to support the people in charge, because they're the one driving the market. Actually, they're the one who know what it takes. It's their responsibility. It's their staff. It's their budget and everything. But of course, these people do need to interact strongly with industry and research, and they can identify through the platform their standardization needs. Standardizations can solve many problems, but not all problems, as Clive said. Innovation and research is needed, and the Commission will be able to use the platform in order to identify not only standardization needs, but also how to pre-program the budgeting on research and innovation. So what's interesting for industry that will be able to join the platform if the groups need to interact with them is that they will benefit from this work. It's always easier for industry to interact with a customer that knows much better what he needs or not. There will be a much better level of maturity of their knowledge on what their needs are. Interaction will be eased. Commercial costs will be less expensive. And then it's a win-win situation, because there's much better chance that what is developed is matching the needs, and what they are selling as solution is going to find a market. And of course, this is a huge benefit for security and resilience within the European market. So researchers, next slide, please. Well, it's pretty much the same, researchers, they just don't do what they're asked. You need to interact with them, and they also will be able to support all these processes and be invited on the platform to join this and this and this particular work that is developed there. They're very needed. And it will be much easier for them to identify where to go, who are the people in charge, and how they can support. So, well, this is pretty much what I wanted to tell you, and I will be happy to tell you more tomorrow and to answer your questions later on. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Patricia. A very informative knowledge. I love very much the way you expressed the platform, and also the way you mentioned the governances earlier on, but very much so you can see from different perspectives how the platform can be very helpful, very useful. So I hope that's clear to everybody, and I welcome it. Before we go on to Luigi, what I'd like to do is invite the question, the Zoom question, if we can have that now, please. And I would ask you to answer the question. It presently reads: develop the use of the STAIR4SECURITY Platform are the following: enables stakeholders to connect, interact, access, and contribute to platform resources and services, provide ease of access to relevant standards, technical best practice and guidelines, it is intuitive, and others. And what we would like is two questions there, please. Two answers. And we just wait for a couple of seconds more. And I think this should be well answered by everybody at this stage, and we will close now. And can we have the results, please? And here you see the post, and it is very clear that we have the very first two, the enabling to connect, interact, and access country platform resources is overwhelming, 93%, and provide ease of access to relevant standard technical best practice and guide, likewise 93%. So it's intuitive. So this is really good, and others got none. So I think the message is loud and clear. Thank you all for that very much.